Hello, loves. Hello, hello. Hills here from the Blue Flame. How are we all doing in this time of the dark moon as we approach the Sagittarius new moon? Ooh, this energy is really something, isn't it? There's that sense of churning and movement and shedding and transformation. And I don't know about you all, but for me, I am literally feeling it all the way into my bones, especially shoulders and arms and elbows and spinal column. And my sense is that part of this is a remembering that when we shed skin, part of what we are doing is releasing things that were trapped underneath. And as we do, we have room to expand. Most most of us don't remember the the somewhat torture of those growth spurts when we were toddlers or when we were teenagers. Some of us might remember the teenage ones pretty well, even if it's mostly on the hormonal or emotional level rather than the actual stretching of the bones. But what I'm feeling and what we are collectively experiencing on an energetic perspective during this cycle as we move to the Sagittarius new moon on the 19th or 20th, depending on your location, and then into the December solstice on the 21st, is that stretching and recalibrating that movement of growth spurt. And it can be painful, especially deep in our physicality. And when I speak of deep in our physicality, yes, we're talking about the bones, our literal physical body. And Capricorn, which the December solstice is opening us into, is connected to our skeletal structure. But I'm also talking about the physicality of our place on this planet, our place within the structures, the scaffolding, the bones of the society that currently exists. As we're moving into the new and the old is continuing to collapse all around us, anywhere where there's a hook in, and this could be a relative, this could be a longing, a desire, our desire body when we move, when we transition from physical incarnation into our soul selves, when we leave behind earthly pleasures. The desire body is what continues to attach us to an incarnation. So what we're feeling as we move into this new cycle is all of those desire body hook ins, all of those mental body hook ins as well. And we're releasing them. And it can feel a little stretched out, elongated, clunky, painful, even. These hook ins could simply be us wanting to milk the last juice out of something. I'll share that I've been really playing around and exploring the ideas of what it looks like if the system that we are currently engaged in, this universal system of capital exchange, being able to gather things from far off locales, like here in San Francisco, my ability to have chocolate and coffee and tea, certain kinds of tea, anyways, and how fragile it all is. And that it only takes a small thing to shake it out. And I was sharing with someone the other day how my desire body and my love of chocolate and coffee and TV and movies and all of these things that are storytelling and indulgent. It's like I have been milking them, enjoying every single little drop of it that I can get before it all goes away. One of the places that we play with that, right? It's like when you wake up from a really good dream and you have just had this amazing dream and you're like, you come back and you find yourself, your presence, your awareness in your room again. And you lay there in bed trying to get back in. That's kind of where we are in the current energy. It's all those places where you're like, oh, but I just want to taste that one thing just for another moment, please. And now we're going to start to get into the astrology. As we move through the Sagittarius new moon, and then less than 48 hours, the December solstice blooms, the sun moves into Capricorn at the 0 degree, we find a lot of movement happening with the galactic center, with the center of this Milky Way galaxy. Now, it's really interesting as well because the 19th of December, which is the day of the Sagittarius new moon for about half of the planet, is also the day that it's believed the comet, the interstellar traveler, 3I Atlas, is going to make its closest pass to the Earth. Now, this intergalactic traveler is sharing with us through, we could say, through water vapor, through the evaporation, okay, of ice as it's heated up, distilling information. Because remember, water has memory. It can find its shape again. And at this same time, Mercury, which is just now beginning to emerge from shadow of retrograde on the Sagittarius new moon and tightening as we reach the solstice, will be exactly conjunct the Great Attractor. We're finding these ways to experience our remembering, our knowing, bringing it deeper within. Now, when we start to get into 2026, as we have that Cancer new moon on the 3rd of January, we are going to be working with the marrow. Cancer is our emotional body. Yes, it is the marrow. If we can feel how Capricorn is our skeletal structure, our bones, Cancer, which sits across the wheel, is that which is where our blood forms, the marrow within the bones. And part of what we are connecting to, and here we're going to connect to the desire body again, to the mental body and the emotional body, where they have a hook in, is those places where we are hyper attached to the story of where we came from, our ancestral line, our mothers, our fathers, our sisters, our brothers, our aunts, our uncles, our partners, our children. Part of the story of, we'll use Yeshua's words, becoming the true human, is releasing these tribal relationships in favor of, or in embodiment of, the collective whole, the human beingness of everyone. It's not, I will take care of mine, but rather, I will take care of. I will take care in. I can see that every single being on this planet is my brother, is my sister, is I. And that's how we start to loosen. We grow into world citizens instead of I am American, I am German, so on and so forth. So when we feel how the sun and the moon, Hecate and Juno will all be conjunct the galactic center on this Sagittarius new moon as 3i Atlas, that interstellar traveler that I've taken to calling prodigy, passes its closest pass to Earth, which will be a little far for naked eye viewing, but if you have a telescope in a dark sky, you'll be able to see it. We are allowing, or we can allow, a filtering in of our galactic state of being, our intergalactic state of being, which is to say our interdimensional beingness. And as we come into Capricorn season, and Mars is leading the way, entering Capricorn on the 16th of December, we are coming into a place where the season of mastery begins. Here, we're going to start to talk about the 12. We're going to start to talk about the 12. So we have a 12th month, December, in the Gregorian calendar. We have in Pisces, the 12th sign. When we move through the solstice, when we move into the solstice, on the eve of the solstice, so as the Sagittarius new moon is just beginning to re-emerge from the void, begins what is known as the 12 days of Christmas. Now, the 12 days of Christmas has its origin in ancient Bavarian pagan tradition and a story that says that on that day, long, 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 long ago, night came on the eve of the December solstice. And the night lasted 12 days and nights. The darkness lasted 12 days and nights, and everyone went into their selves, into their homes. And the tradition was to keep that vow, to stay within oneself, to allow these 12 days to be a time of introspection. It is working with the black ray. On the 13th morning, which for us in the Gregorian calendar is New Year's Day, the sun rose again and a new dawn began. And part of what the tunings that I have been picking up, the messages that we have been receiving, and all of the ways that we have been talking about timeline shifting, coming into unification of heart and mind, is laying the foundation for this cycle. We feel the 12 months and we feel the 12 cycles of the sun. We feel the 12 signs of the astrological wheel. And now we come into this 12-day cycle as we begin the final quarter of the astrological wheel. Capricorn is in the astrological wheel, the 10th house. It is where our MC begins. And it is where we move into the work, the Dharma of our cycle. We move into that Capricornian era. And then we move into that Aquarian era. And then we move into that Piscean era. We find our Dharma, we dream it into being, and then we transcend all that we thought we could be. And this is where we are as we come to this Sagittarius new moon, as we come to that Capricorn solstice. We find all of these ways in which we can go within, expand our state of being, open our hearts, open our minds, find the true human within. This is Christ consciousness. This is diamond consciousness. This is the acclamation of the light body. And on the other side, as we come towards that Cancer new moon on the 3rd of January, Cancer full moon, sorry about that. Oh, yes, I feel that. There's something that we're going to be touching into soon about that Cancer new moon in June, but not quite yet. As we come to that January 3rd Cancer full moon, and we feel all of the ways which we release as we go into the new dawn, and as Sirius, the stellar dimension of Christ consciousness, reaches its apex in our night sky. We can breathe into our bones, into the marrow, and we can regrow our relationship to our blood and our bones and the skeletal system of the world writ large. I mentioned, yes, that on the new moon in Sagittarius, which is at 28 degrees of Sagittarius, we have Hecate at 27, the Galactic Center at 27, we have Juno at 26, and we have Venus at 24, our morning star. When we get to the solstice, Venus will come exactly conjunct to the galactic center, opening wider our connection. Venus has a very strong connection to the desire body. It is magnetism. And as Mercury at the same time comes into greater contact with the Great Attractor, and in T-square to the nodes, which are at 12, Virgo and Pisces, we can start to feel how we can restructure, rewire our relationship to the world, to the solar system, to the stars of this galaxy and beyond. And part of the message that Prodigy is sharing with us is that we are coming as a collective species, humanity, into the cycle of mastery. And here we want to share something, which is that for the next 4 years, 26, 27, 28, 29, we are in master number years. And what does that mean? That means that 2026 is a 10 year, which is also a 1. 2027 is an 11 year, which is also a 2. 2028 is a 12 year, which is also a 3. And 2029 is a 13 year, which is also a 4. By the time we get to 2030, it reverts and we're straight into a 5. We don't have those master numbers that we're working with anymore. 5 is in itself another master number, but we'll get more on that later. Part of what we're feeling is that we get to play with multiple frequencies simultaneously. And this is Saturn leaving Pisces, coming into Aries next year. Neptune leaving Pisces, coming into Aries next year. Uranus leaving Taurus, where it's still retrograde right now, coming into Gemini next year. All 3 of these planets shifting signs for good and all. As we have 2 numbers, 2 tarot cards, as we come into the fire horse year in 2026, and we start to explore all of the various ways in which we can interact with ourselves and the universe. This is part of Mercury's turning straight out of shadow into conjunction with Great Attractor, coming into greater relationship with how we create. Inviting a remembering of the entire span of our beingness. This cycle, as we move into the solstice and into the new year, 2026, invites stillness. This 12 days of Christmas, of the Christ Mass, invites a coming into your beingness, coming into quiet. And here, an invitation to feel how hectic so many of us have scheduled the last 2 weeks of the year. Whether we celebrate Christmas or not, however we move through, those 2 weeks that end each year can be really hectic. Everyone's having parties, finishing things up before all this busyness. And the invitation is actually towards stillness. Stillness. Coming back to the breath, coming back to the heart, coming back to the connection with the divine, which is what Christ Mass is all about. It's not about a person, Yeshua, Isa. It is about the message of Christ consciousness, that each and every one of us is a being of Christ, a vessel of divine light. Each and every cell of our being has that connection. And what we are shedding right now is all of the delusion. Remember when we were talking earlier about waking up from a great and glorious dream and just wanting to kind of tuck back in? That's where we are right now. Whether we had a very hard life or a very easy life, whether we have all the material pleasures or we're cold and huddled and not having enough to eat, there are things about this journey in physicality to which we are all quite enamored. This dream that we're all dreaming together. And yeah, we kind of want to linger in it a little bit, even as we know that what is coming is going to be so much better. So go easy on yourself. Feel all of the places where you're clutching and holding super tight. Like I said, for me, it's coffee and concerts. Concerts. Oh man, but we can still have concerts, right? Feel all of those things that you're holding onto, and then which ones actually serve. Like I just said, we can still have concerts, right? What things, what aspects of this glorious journey of embodiment are meant to be carried forward? Now, will concerts look like they look now when we move into the next phase of our incarnation journeys? Probably not. Chorus of angels, who knows? Have fun with it though. That is part of this. When we get too serious, we can tend towards clinging even more. But when you remember it's all meant to be play, it's a whole lot easier to shift the game. Ooh, two things to share before we close. Over in the community on Circle, the Blue Flame community, in the outer chamber, we have a special grounded earth meditation that I've made available, and it's going to be available through the entirety of this 12 days of Christmas. Actually, it's already available. It became available on the 12/12 portal. And it works with the energy, that creative energy of the primordial earth, really bringing you into witness of those moments when the lava flow began to solidify, when the elemental beings, air, earth, water, and fire started to harmonize and move together, creating the structures of land and water and air that we know now, and fire. I will also be facilitating for our entire group over there on Circle, not just the Inner Sanctum, a special transmission and activation on the day of the solstice. And I'll have more about that in the days to come. There is something about gathering in that solstice energy as we allow the new foundations to form within us. That feels really important. However you travel throughout these days and nights, as we move into the new, I share with you, as always, in the always, so much and many loves from the dimensions of the all and beyond, beyond.